Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Queen & Co today, and I have a few cards to share with you using their brand new sentiment dies. And I have 4 different ways to use these tiny little script sentiments. And so we're going to cover 4 different ways to use the sentiment dies and 4 different cards. These are the brand new dies. You can see they cut the words winter, anniversary, and autumn, as well as the word wishes. And they can be mixed and matched to combine lots of different cards. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to combine winter with wishes, anniversary with wishes, and autumn with wishes for my 4 cards. The first technique is stacked cardstock, and I'm going to take some white cardstock and I'm going to use some Therm iCraft Easy Cut Adhesive, which is a thin double-sided adhesive. I'm going to peel off one side of that adhesive and lay the cardstock on top. Then I'm going to put the die on top of the cardstock. So basically what we are doing here is creating a little sticker out of our die cuts, and that will make it very easy to stack them on top of each other. So you can see I'm going to just cut out both the words multiple times. I'm going to do it at least 3 times and stack them up, get lots of dimension from them, make them pop off the card, even if I place them on a bunch of pattern paper and they're kind of fine and detailed, they still won't get lost because of all that dimension. Okay, I'm going to use some pattern paper here on top of cardstock as my card base. And like I said, even if I'm using these 2 different types of pattern papers, we're still going to be able to see our very delicate die cuts because we are stacking them up. I'm also going to be using the star-shaped shakers to create a couple of stars on this Winter Wishes card. And the way that I like to do that is peel off the protective backing of the foam and then adhere some cardstock inside that star. And I'm going to do that with both of these stars. I'm going to create them as silver glitter stars and put some gems inside for shakers. So I have some clear and some light blue, and I love the mix of that on top of the kind of teal and pink pattern paper as well. So once those shakers are filled, you're going to peel off that top protective layer and lay down your acetate, which is die cut to the size it's supposed to be, which makes it really easy. Then you do need to put some adhesive on top of your cardstock. I die cut those star frames for the tops. And now we're going to start stacking up our Winter Wishes sentiments. So I'm just going to use either a craft knife or a pick and just pop out those little interior places where the script kind of makes little bubbles and adhere those down and then stack them on top of each other. Makes it really easy with that double-sided adhesive. The second way I'm going to use my little die cuts is with dimensional clear adhesive on top of them. Again, this is a way to get some dimension out of them and to have them pop off. This time I'm going to lay them on the shaker. So I'm making the shaker in the same way. This is the tag shaped shaker where I put that foam down and I die cut a little frame to go on top to kind of coordinate it with the rest of my card, which is a really, browns and yellows and oranges fall design. I'm going to use some glossy accents to lay down the die cuts this time. I did not use the double-sided adhesive. Not everybody has it, so I wanted to show you that if you do have one of these thin-tipped precision bottles, you can get your adhesive right on the back of that little die cut, no problem. I also placed a little dot of glossy accents right above where the eye goes, found my little eye dot, and used a jewel picker to place that right on top. I am going to use some of the bubbles embellishments in the open spaces between my stamping on that card background there. And then I'm going to use some trim to tie the tag at the top. Just some embellishing, which I think is extra and fun on that little shaker there. Okay, the next technique that I'm going to use these dies for is to back a die cut with a different color of cardstock. So I'm cutting out the words anniversary wishes out of this silver cardstock, and I'm going to lay it over some gold cardstock, and that will create the two-tone effect of the die cuts and the sentiments. And it's just a really, really simple way to get some extended use out of your sentiment dies. Just another fun way to use them. So I'm going to use some pattern paper from the Happy Harvest above of the die cut. And then I am going to adhere that down with just some dot roller, just some adhesive there, and then adhere this whole panel down over that metallic gold cardstock. And I really like the way that looks peeking out from behind the die. I was missing the little part of the A, so I did grab that out of the die and then adhere it with some liquid adhesive and use my jewel picker to pick it up and move it around. Decided I wanted a shaker on this card as well, so I'm going to use that little star shape again, and I'm going to use the same silver cardstock that I used on the card inside the star as well. I added some black jewels inside, covered it up with the acetate, and now I'm adhering the silver cardstock that I cut out for the frame on top of that. My last technique with these little sentiment dies is to use some colorful fun foam. Now, fun foam is relatively cheap and you can get a whole pack with lots of different colors. I'm going to use the brown, which I hardly ever use, and so I thought it would be cool to get some use out of that. I am layering up some cardstock here and pattern paper to create my card background, and I have a nice busy little piece of pattern paper with those leaves, and so I thought the fun foam in brown with all that extra dimension would stand out really well for this Autumn Wishes sentiment. So I'm using some liquid adhesive with a nice fine tipped nozzle on my adhesive bottle to adhere down the fun foam because it does not have adhesive on the back, and I did not add that double-sided liquid adhesive this time around. Once again, the little eye dot had been stuck in the eye. I popped it out with a little pick, and now I am just adhering it with some liquid adhesive. I thought I would add a little shimmer to this, so I'm using the Spectrum Noir clear shimmer pen just to go over the top of those fun foam words there. And then on top of that, I'm going to use some Nouveau Crystal Glaze, which is another liquid clear dimensional adhesive. Does come out very fast, so for these fine words you kind of have to move quickly, and then if anything kind of spills over the edge, just use a toothpick or something to pick that back up. I have these little circle wood shakers from Queen & Co. that I thought I would use as embellishments on this card. I thought they went nicely with the polka dot pattern paper there. So that completes 4 different cards using 4 different techniques to use the Autumn Wishes, Winter Wishes, and Anniversary Wishes sentiment dies from Queen & Co. If you're interested in the products that I used today, they will all be linked down below. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel here, check out my blog for more information, and I'll have a couple other videos that you might be interested in. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.